Oh, and thank you for spending your 2014 with us on Explore Tulsa.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to start making the switch, remembering to write 2015 on everything.
Making the calendar switch can be tough, especially if you fly from one of your jobs to another all the time.
I don't know how Dan Smith at TV47 does it. Managing 2 TV stations in 2 different time zones, I'd have to wear 2 watches.
Dan's been with LaCie for a while now. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Why don't we just find out by visiting with Dan Smith of TV47?
I had a little 9-volt transistor radio, and I used to listen to WLS in Chicago. AM radio station would come all across the U.S. I listened to KOA Denver, WWL New Orleans, so I always listened to radio. And so that really got me interested in the broadcast business in the first place. I grew up in Bartlesville, and then my dad and mom both worked for Citgo, City Service Oil Company, and they moved us to Tulsa. And then I went to high school here, and then I went to school in Stillwater. Well, when I was in college, I got to engineer the newscast, and I got to read the weather. And then after that, then I had my own radio program, Music by Candlelight. And I would, I would play records. In those days, it really was records. It was LP records. And you had to get the record tuned up and get everything ready, and then you'd play a record, and then people would call you and tell you, you said the wrong thing, or tell you that. I remember one time my boss called me and said, "You said Lucky Hula Hands." No, I'm sorry, actually you said Happy Hula Hands, and it's really Lucky Hula. Anyway, I messed it up. My boss called me while I was on the air to explain to me why, what I did wrong. But I still stayed with it. I still stayed in radio for quite a few years. And then my first real radio job was selling advertising for KMOD here in Tulsa. I moved from KMOD here, went down to the Cat in Oklahoma City, and then the company that I worked for, a lot of radio stations seems like they change hands. And the company that I worked for sold the Cat. I went across the street to another station. They sold that station, asked me to move to Colorado Springs. And then that company sold that station, and I started looking around and went to work for a small television station. And I just liked it. I mean, I thought, gosh, if I can sell radio with only sound, what if you had pictures with that? We've got a terrific signal. In fact, it's over the air, channel 47, been around for over 30 years. We have, in fact, that's a great question. We have channel 47.1, which is, we described a minute ago, about half that programming is maybe a little over half is English language Christian programming, whether it's music or teaching and preaching, or maybe even some Christian movies that we have. But the other part of it is syndicated programming. I've got John Tesh and Connie Selleck on a daily show. I've got a new judge show that we really like that seems to be fitting for our Tulsa audience. I've got shows like MASH and Everybody Loves Raymond. But then my .2, 47.2, we just affiliated with NBC with their network called Cozy, C-O-Z-I TV. And that's all shows that were hugely popular on NBC in the 70s and the 80s. And that's just been great for us. LaCie is a great organization because we have radio, we have television, we have shortwave radio. We cover the entire planet with an English language Christian voice. Now I work in the television station division. We've got stations in Honolulu, Colorado Springs, which actually is carried in Denver, the Tulsa station here. We have a station in New Orleans. We're in Indianapolis, and we're in South Bend, and we have a station in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Well, I've been doing this for over 30 years now. If I didn't say it, my degree is radio, television, and film from Oklahoma State University. I'm really proud of those guys, especially for beating OU the other day. That was really great. I like to get clients results. I like the pastor to have his phone ring and someone says, "I'd like to come to services. When are they, sir?" Or I would like to have someone go to the car dealer and say, "I saw your ad on TV47. I'd like to look at a car." I like to get results for our clients. That feels really, really good for me.